Good evening. Good to see everybody here tonight. Thank you so much for coming and participating in democracy. Welcome to the Ouray Candidates Forum, hosted by the Women's Club of Ouray County and co-sponsored by the Ouray County Plain Dealer newspaper. Thank you to Mike Wiggins and Aaron McIntyre for your support. We are also so grateful for the support and hospitality from Ouray School to hold this forum here tonight. Much thanks especially to Todd Loki, Dee James, and Tom Tyler. So thank you so much. I am Heather Grice, tonight's host on behalf of the Women's Club of Ouray County. The moderator for the candidates' questions will be Vivian Tone. Tonight's timekeepers are Cynthia Lacey and Linda Tyler. Monitoring our Zoom presentation is Cindy Carruthers. Thank you to community members who provided questions for the candidates. We got some good ones. Unfortunately, we can't get to them all. Just a few notes regarding restrooms. If you need a restroom, you go down the stairs, you go left, and you keep going left. And there's a women and a men's restroom there. So that's where they are if you need one. Okay, so due to time constraints, we are not able to ask every question that was submitted. If your question was not presented tonight, we do encourage you to reach out to the candidate or candidates to get an answer to your question. We hope tonight's forum will be educational and provide you with information you need to cast your 2025 ballot. First tonight, we have Christy Lynn, Ouray County Clerk, to explain the 2025 ballot and additional information and resources. Please welcome Christy.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so we've had just a couple questions that have come up repeatedly since the ballots have gone out that I want to address. The county is running a lodging tax question, and I've had several people in the city or the town ask me, why isn't that question on my ballot? It's because the city already has a lodging tax, and so does the town. So this lodging tax, which is the 1A question on the county, only applies to any lodging that is outside of the municipalities. So I just want to make that clear, because that's been something that people have been asking. This is a question that the county came up with to try to drive some revenue from the places that are in the lodging areas that are in outside the municipalities. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's kind of like taking the donut hole out of the donut, but you can't double up on those lodging taxes. So that's why that's happening. So that's the biggest question that we've been getting. I have sample ballots. If you guys haven't received your ballot, has anybody not received their ballots in this room? Okay, good. Our VSPC, the Voter Service Polling Center at the courthouse, opens on Monday, and we'll be there Monday through Friday, and then Saturday from, I believe it's 8 to noon. You can either come and vote in person, you can get a replacement ballot, or you can drop your ballots off. So that kind of, the rest of the questions, I mean, there's the 2 state questions, not a lot. They're both regarding the, can we keep the money to feed school kids questions. Cedar Hill Cemetery is running a question for funding that is very important. So I just want to throw that out there to you guys. A little bit of a personal side. I helped as a caretaker out there. I know the board and the people who take care of Cedar Hill, and that absolutely beautiful cemetery needs this funding. So I just want to throw that out there to you guys.
Thank you.
And then the other thing, of course, we've got the exciting mayor and city council. And then if you're in the north end of the county, you have some Montrose School Board. And of course, our school board, and I think, oh, there's the fire question also. And that is for the Ouray volunteer, the Ouray Fire Protection District, not the city, outside of the city. So, that's a small one also, so. I guess if anybody has questions for me, otherwise I will turn it over to the people you really want to hear. Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much, Christy. Okay, we will now ask the school board candidates to come up and take a seat at the stage. We have 3 candidates running for 2 positions. We have Phyllis Bergelius, Andrea Calhoun Morello, and Tony Schmidt. So each candidate has 2 minutes for an introduction. They will have 1 minute to answer presented questions, 2 minutes after the questions for a closing statement. And just a reminder, you may not hear your exact question. In the interest of time, similar questions have been combined. Questions will be directed to all candidates, and the candidates will have 1 minute to answer the question. And the questions won't be directed just to one, they'll be directed to everybody. I'm going to turn the floor now over to our moderator, Vivian Tom.
Yeah, good evening. As Heather said, we're going to have an opening statement from each of the candidates. And after that, I'll be asking questions, and we're gonna rotate the order so that the same person doesn't get to go first every time, the same person doesn't get last every time. So why don't we start with the opening statements by Andrea, and we'll just go down the line. Thanks, Andrea.
Hey, hello, I'm Andrea Morello, or you may know me as Andrea Calhoun, so I put both last names on the ballot. I want to introduce myself tonight by telling you about my experience in relation to the primary stakeholders of the Ouray School District, the students, teachers, parents, and community members. Because if elected, these are the groups to whom I'm responsible and representing. Students are the focus. There are unique opportunities and challenges in being a student in a small school, and I know that firsthand as I'm a former student and graduate of Ouray High School. Next, the teachers and staff. We have incredible teachers and staff here. And I myself am a former special education teacher with nearly a decade of experience providing services to students in a variety of classroom environments. I occasionally ran my own class, but generally worked in other teachers' classrooms. Parents. I'm currently a parent of 3 students in Ouray Elementary and Middle School. And I have experience as a parent at a classical education charter school in homeschooling. And last but not least, the community. If you aren't currently one of the other stakeholders, then you are probably a taxpayer supporting the school district. So thank you. I also have been a taxpayer of Ouray School District for the past 19 years. So that's my general introduction. But specifically, I've been involved as the chairperson this last year as the chairperson of the Ouray School District Advisory and Accountability Council, otherwise known as DAC, where we discuss school performance, budget, and provided parent engagement seminars. I was also a member of the policy committee that provided feedback to the school board on various policies. These 2 committees in particular have helped prepare me for the responsibilities of a school board member, and I look forward to answering your questions tonight. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Phyllis Bergelius, and I have been a part of the school since 1988 when my husband and 2 daughters moved here and Eric started teaching. I started participating in the school before I started teaching here. But eventually I became PE teacher, taught 5th grade here. I've taken kids on so many outdoor ed trips with Eric. We've gone to Mexico, been able to go to Paris with students, many outdoor ed trips. I've coached. I've been a part of the school with my children. All 3 daughters graduated, and now I have a grandson here. This school is the heartbeat of our community. Without this school, we're just a town. But the school creates the life that really pumps through all of us. And I know that's why you're here and that you care about this place. What I bring to, I think, the school board is one, understanding what takes place in the school. I understand what the teachers go through. I also have great relationships with the administration. I have relationships with Amy in the lunchroom. So I know and I've seen what the different jobs are and what they entail. And I know that a lot of things are changing. And so as a school board member, I need to look at what's changing and see what's best for our kids in our community. And I look forward to serving this school. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Tony Schmidt. I'm a proud student graduate from Ouray High School and a parent of a fifth grader that's currently attending Ouray Middle School. I'm also retired law enforcement and a small business owner in Ouray. I spent my life serving this community and solving problems through accountability, teamwork, and common sense. I'm running for the school board because I believe Ouray schools stay focused on education, not politics. Our classrooms should be safe, respectful, space for learning, not places for social or sexual ideologies. Parents have the right to know what their kids are being taught, and the teachers deserve the support to focus on academics. My goal is to strengthen trust, restore transparency, and ensure that Ouray schools reflect the values of families who live here. Together, we can keep Ouray schools a place for learning, not ideology.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the questions and we'll start with Phyllis because you were number 2. So what are your top 2 priorities for the Ouray school for the near and distant future?
I think the top 2 priorities always are bringing quality teachers, making sure that they can make a living and live here, and making sure that our facilities are safe and that they provide for the needs of the academics, the social needs, the emotional needs, and the after-school activity needs. I mean, that all of those things create a well-rounded student. And so those are the 2 areas that are top and foremost in my mind.
Tony, again, your top 2 priorities for the school.
I believe the 2 top priorities would be academically strong. That'd be the first one. We need to make sure that our kids can compete out in the world with everybody else's. We need to be above and beyond, and our teachers need to be in the same place in order to do that. The next would be partnership with the parents and teachers and community. They should all know what's going on at the school. I mean, you shouldn't have to look up on their website, on their school board website to see what the curriculum is or what's going through school. It should be open book policy. I mean, everybody should know what's going on in our school.
And Andrea.
For me, the 2 top priorities, near and long term, is first thing, so staying focused on the students, and for the students to get a high quality education, we have to have quality teachers that we're supporting. The second area would be, it's going to be a combination. I think we're going to, in the near future and distant future, we're going to have questions about facilities and the needs of those facilities. And so I need to understand what the hierarchy of those needs are so that we can meet them for students, staff, and the community. So yes, those would be my 2 top.
Thank you. Tony, we'll start with you on this one. Small communities rely on volunteers. Can you share what other boards you may be a part of or have been a part of, or other volunteer opportunities you've given your time back to in the community?
I don't know of a specific program that I've been a part of. I've helped out as much as I possibly could. I've gone on a 4-day-long field trip with the 4th grade class just to see what they're learning. I helped greatly with the Ouray Elks Lodge, which also helps with all the school projects, some basketball programs. I donate immensely to different school programs that they're doing. And every morning I'm 30 minutes early to school and 30 minutes after school, and I talk with all the kids and parents that come up.
Andrea?
So as I had mentioned in my introduction, I jumped right in when I moved back. And so I was the chairperson of the DAC, of the District Accountability Committee, and also a member of the Policy Committee. And outside of the school volunteering that I've done, oh, in the classroom, I was also in the classroom last year, and after school programs. But I also am I volunteer at our church. I run the kids program at our church.
And, Andrea can, I'm sorry, Phil, did I cut you off?
No.
Probably nothing.
Is it? I have been on the library board twice. I have served, on Mountain Air Music for about 10 years. And then I volunteered with them before that. So I've been with them for the whole time that Mountain Air Music has been part of our community. I just got off of that board, to do this. So, I'm also on the Ouray Teachers Fund Board, and we provide money for teachers, so that they can, further their education, and we can help support them because it's very difficult to do from here.
Let's see, Phyllis. When the board members hold conflicting views, how would you work towards a respectful and effective resolution?
The most important thing I think to do is to listen. I know that my opinion is not shared by everybody. But what I do know is when I listen to others, I actually learn more than if I'm just trying to push my agenda forward. And so I am a very good listener. I think about when I was getting my master's with Darla Hasselness, and we are very different people with very different viewpoints. She taught me more because of who she is and her differences, and I became a better teacher because I listened to her and didn't just push through what I thought was important because I thought was important. So I think it's listening and knowing that we have 4 other incredible people on board, very knowledgeable and educated, and have the desire to do best for our kids. So listening.
Tony?
I think I know quite a bit about conflicting views because I'm never right at home. So I would say that I'm willing to learn, and I am not always right on everything. It's hard to admit it a lot of times, but I've learned more from other people and just keep my mouth shut sometimes and listening to what their whole view is and see what the outcome is. Not everybody's always right all the time, and everybody has to listen to each other. And in the end, you'll come up with a mutual agreement.
The next question is, Andrea, this is the hardest thing. I'm trying to get all 3 of you trying to answer. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. What steps will you take to become knowledgeable about board procedures?
Oh, wait.
No, okay.
Sorry.
As a then
The
Conflicting views.
okay, yeah, so the question was, when board members hold conflicting views, how do you treat them in a respectful and effective way?
Okay, so I think for myself, when approaching a situation which the other board members would have a conflicting view, you say, first thing we have to identify and stay focused on is what is our shared goal? What are we working towards? So once we have the shared goal, then listening to each other's perspective and where they're coming from in regards to that shared goal, can help us navigate the challenging conversations to come to a resolution. If any of you went to the Voyager Health, a conflict resolution presentation earlier about a few weeks ago in Ridgeway, and I went to that, and so it was excellent to give me language around first identifying what's that shared goal that we have, because we will have a shared goal on the school board, which would be the students. And then from that point, we listen to each other and we work through the challenging conversation to find a resolution.
The next question is, as a policy focused board member, how will you make sure that residents' voices are heard in key decisions and that the board remains accountable to the families and the taxpayers it serves? And this one's,
I guess you have to let the parents notify, or you have to notify the parents in the community what's going on first in order to be held accountable for it. So if they don't know what's going on, how are they aware of the situation to be held accountable? I think you actually have to send home newsletters and emails and let them know what's going on in the school. You have to do repetition practice. I mean, once the parents get used to, a weekly email coming out saying, this is what we're gonna do in school, they're gonna look for it and they're gonna look forward to it, and then they know what's going on. And I believe that better informs all the parents.
Andrew?
So for me, transparency and communication are key between stakeholders. That's how we build and sustain a relationship. And while I don't have an exact identified solution to this communication piece, I think that we can strive for better communication so that everybody is aware what policies are we working on. And if you have input, what's the best way to get this input to the representatives who's representing you on the school board? And that's an area that I think we can explore. Right now, the meetings are posted and it's a public meeting and you can have a comment time at the beginning. But if you're not aware of that, maybe we need every once in a while to post how are ways that you can participate. How can you know? Where can you find policy manual and notice pieces?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, as a policy focused board member, how will you make sure that residents' voices are heard in key decisions and that the board remains accountable?
Thank you. So I was reading in a book the other day and this line came out and the author wrote, in order to make good policy, you need to be investigative and not ideal. And so being able to reach out to the public and listen, again, that listening piece, investigate the issue, investigate what all the stakeholders are doing, looking at what the state law is, and then communicating that through whatever various methods that we have. I know that that the school has a lot of ways that it communicates to the parents and to the community, but perhaps that's that's something that we can also work on, how we hold that accountable with our community.
The next question is, what is your understanding about the school's finances? And Andrea could start.
I have a little bit of experience with this, being as the chairperson of the DAC last year. We often would review, Todd would review for us the budget and where we were at in each quarter. My overall, and then also attending school board meetings for the past few months, and the budget is always a piece of that. So my understanding right now is that we have a very healthy budget. I think that I remember being at the first DAC meeting as they were going through what they were doing, how they were spending, and what money they had to spend, being, wow, this is amazing to be in this meeting and to hear that we are in a good position financially. So that is about the extent of my understanding.
I would say about the same thing. I know that through the few years that I worked here when Tom Levy first started, his ability to make the budget understandable to all of us was very helpful. But I do see that we are in a great position for the size of our school, the size of our community. We spend wisely, and I want to keep that up.
So I haven't reviewed the whole budget yet. I just started piecing it together. I just got some of it the other day, and it's very complex. With statewide budget cuts and loss of tax revenue, I think we're gonna have to start learning how to pinch some pennies and pull the purse strings a little bit, because I think it's gonna get tight, and it's better off to have something in the black and instead of being in the red, just hold a little bank account to the side in case something bad happens on the road.
The next question, how does the school board influence school curriculum? And Phyllis, you can start.
I don't think that's the school board's job. The school board's job is to work with the superintendent. The superintendent, through the principals, they deal with the curriculum. Now, we're going to be looking at does the curriculum meet the state goals or our school goals for academics? If that isn't happening, then we need to make some changes. But our job as a school board is to set policy that moves the school forward and to basically hold the superintendent accountable to their job.
So for curriculum, like Mr. Grass said, that would be also the school position. I mean, we can try to put some input in on it. I believe sensitive topics belong with the parents, not the teachers. Age appropriate and factual, and respect family values and beliefs. As far as curriculum, that's all mandated pretty much by the state.
Andrew?
So yes, in the similar vein, it's not the specific curriculum, it isn't the decision of the school board. What we are making sure is that we have state standards that have to be taught in the classroom. And so you find you have to have a curriculum that's going to teach, teachers are teaching, but that is the material for that specific state standard. And we get feedback as the board member based on what are our results, how are our students performing, and how our students performing, they're being assessed on state standards. So we can look at those scores to see is our curriculum that our teachers are teaching matching that need. And if we need to address that, then we can start having, asking the leadership, what do we need, what changes need to be made, are there changes that need to be made, and can we investigate where that change needs to happen.
Thank you. The next question, what expectation do you have of our school administrators? And Tony?
I believe as long as they're transparent, everybody's going to mess up sometime in their work history. As long as everybody's honest and transparent and communicative about it, they tell you what's going on at the school, they keep you informed. They ensure the policies reflect community values. It has to coincide with everybody else on what the parents are thinking. But as long as they're communicative and transparency, they let you see what's going on and let you be a part of it and help you change anything that needs to be changed.
The next question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Give an answer that don't hear yet.
Can you repeat? Sorry.
I'm sorry. What expectations do you have of our school administrators?
So I expect there to be a positive team building environment that is really keeping the goal. What are the overall goals of our school? What do we want our students to be doing? Supporting the teachers, making sure that that environment is a supportive environment for teachers to do what they need to be doing, and that they're listening and communicating with all of the important stakeholders. And so they're kind of that go between you've got students, teachers, parents, administration, and then to the school board. And so it's really key: transparency, communication, and team building.
The administration is responsible for the safety of our children. And that is big because it's emotional safety, it's being educated. So their job is to make sure that the teachers are supported so that they can in turn support the students. They need to make sure that the school grounds are safe because these are precious babies, we want them to be safe. It may look different, it may look different at different times in a year, but I do believe that it's about emotional safety for kids and, also just to provide that, great place that everybody wants to come to.
The next question is, what do you see as the best way to utilize the Fourth Street property? And Andrea would go first on this.
So I'm gonna fall back on getting a better understanding of the hierarchy of needs at our school in terms of facilities. My understanding is that we're sort of in the beginning process of having meetings that involve community members and school members, and that is the facility building meeting. And at one of the previous school board meetings that I attended, they were reporting back on what has been generated out of those meetings. And then the firm that is working on that, they're going to be reporting back to SCORE, putting it together. I think that once I get a better understanding of what that hierarchy of needs are coming out of that collaborative group, then I can make a statement of what we need to do with that.
Exactly what I was gonna say, was looking at the hierarchy of needs, what is most important, and looking at the different stakeholders involved with the property, how it will affect kids, how it will affect the neighborhood, but until I see those, and I've not been privy to that yet, so.
Just repeating pretty much what they said. I mean, it's still in the beginning processes, and so it's hard to understand. I would believe it's more of a money issue. Do we have the money to do it? I mean, we have to be able to leave money in our coffers for a rainy day fund. And where are we gonna get the money to do it? We're gonna try to pass another bond issue. If so, is it worth it? I mean, the gym is old. It is very old. Does it suffice for what we need it for?
And we have one final question. At the end of your 4-year term, how do you think the Ouray schools and Ouray school district will be different from where we are now? Academically, personnel-wise, structurally, financially? It's a big question. I think I'm gonna have to repeat it. You want me to paraphrase it one more? It's asking you to project, at the end of a 4-year term, where do you think the schools and the school district are going to be? And that's many respects, including academics.
I would believe it'd be academically strong, politically neutral and school district, in partnership with parents, teachers, and community. It's hard to broadcast what's gonna happen in 4 years. You can only better to hope it, or hope to better it, I guess. You try to leave everything better than when you left. You're always achieving or striving for the best academics you can get and what programs you can get to help achieve those academic goals. What kind of employees you have, can you better the employees and help them and do more training? Only try to leave it better.
So at the end of 4 years, I hope that I've continued the great work that's going on, supporting these fabulous teachers that are with an excellent educational program. We can always strive to shoot higher in that part. And that in doing that and supporting teachers who are raising the bar of excellence with the students, that there's already a great framework in place. The district has their strategic plan, 5-year strategic plan, and it is a solid plan that I support. And so we will continue with that part. I hope that I will have been a good steward of community resources. We will have potentially facilities questions coming up, and I don't know if things happen as quickly as in 4 years, but to be a good steward right now.
Although I'd like to think I can predict the future, I've never been very good at it, so I'm not going to. But I will say that what I want to do is to keep moving our school in the positive direction that it has been going in, since we moved here, and to keep it going in that direction. There's gonna be a lot of challenges in the next 4 years, with all the things happening in our world, with AI, there's just a lot of things happening. And I want to be a good steward with our facility, with our kids, with what we have here, and move us forward into the 20 whatevers, how I don't know, it's just, just keep moving forward, doing the good things we're doing.
Thank you for the answers to the questions. We're now going to, you'll have an opportunity to make a closing statement. And each of you can have 2 minutes, and the timekeepers will let me know as the clock starts running down. So, Phyllis, I think it's your turn to go first on that. 2 minutes.
I love this school and I love this community, and I don't feel like this community owes me anything. So if I'm not the right person to be on the school board, that's okay. But I feel like I owe this community everything. To be able to have my 3 daughters go to this school and become the wonderful young women that they are. To see some students and parents of students in this room, how they've been able to grow here in this school, is I'm almost in this emotional space right now because it means everything. If I am on the school board, I will work hard, as I always do, to do what is best at the time with what we have. I can't say anything further than that, I don't know, but I will do whatever I can. I will work with and listen to the parents, the teachers, our administrators. I will listen to the community members. And we won't always get the answers we want, but you will know that you will have an ear with me. Feel like I'm being a little awkward here because it's a lot to be able to say and focus into a little bit. But I will give everything for the kids here in this community, and I look forward to serving Ouray.
I'm very dedicated to Ouray, the city of Ouray, and Ouray is my home. It's where I grew up, it's where I raised my son, and it's where I built my business. I'm running for school board to protect what makes community strong: family, integrity, and most of all, common sense. Our schools should focus on education, not politics, on teaching kids how to think, not what to think. Let's keep Ouray schools a place for learning, not ideology, and make sure every child has opportunities to succeed. This is a great school. Everybody loves this school, and let's keep it great.
Preparing my closing statement, I didn't know what particular questions or discussion would be tonight. So if the following data get presented earlier, or if any of my answers were clear as mud, here's a reminder of why I'm running one of the open school board positions. While newly returning to Ouray schools, I have a long history and vested interest in Ouray in the district. I have a passion for quality education for all students, and that includes opportunities for advanced college prep courses as well as work-based experiences. In addition, I continue to support all the various activities and athletic programs that makes our district unique. I will listen to all the stakeholders of the district and work collaboratively with the other school board members to continue providing an excellent education program for the student, while supporting the needs of teachers and staff. I also maintain that transparency, communication, and engagement builds and sustains the trust needed with parents and community members. That was a lot of I statements, but it's really about listening and supporting all of you, students, teachers, parents, and community members. Thank you.
And thanks to all these were clearly some very thoughtful comments and statements by the candidates, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phyllis and Andrea and Tony. Thank you. Right, at this time, I'm going to city clerk to please come forward. Oh, I said this here. Oops. Hold on, just so good. Maybe just sure. Okay, we will first ask a few questions to Jenny from the community, and then Jenny Hart will make a brief presentation afterwards. Jenny is running unopposed for the city council position, and so I will now turn it back over to Vivian.
Well, I don't have to keep track of the order of three candidates, so thank you, Jen. You're welcome. The first question is, what are the top 3 priorities that you would like to see Ouray facing in the near future, that you would like to see addressed?
Great, I will, I was going to be talking about this during my presentation, but I can do it right now. I've been working to promote affordable housing in Ouray since the Watergate project was an initial idea. I'm eager to continue to work on this thorny issue and help Ouray continue to find housing solutions. Our school, businesses, and the community itself need us to work hard on this problem. It is not an easy task. I also want to work on wildfire mitigation. As a member of the Ouray Trail Group and also of Ouray Mountain Rescue, I know firsthand how much downed wood surrounds our city. I want to work to explore all options to keep our city safe in the face of this tricky issue. This means looking at all options, hardening of homes, managing the dead wood in our forests, and partnering with the County of Ouray, the U.S. Forest Service, the Town of Ridgeway, and other organizations that specialize in wildfire mitigation. Finally, I'm interested in water issues in Ouray. I want to ensure citizens of Ouray have high-quality drinking water and an equitable payment system for this water. I also want to ensure our pool has access to the hottest water. Sorry. Thank you, Linda.
You can finish that in your concluding statement.
Great.
Thank you, Kelly. You have a few more to Jenny, here's the question was, how will you ensure that the city council makes decisions based on what's best for Ouray, rather than promoting interests or pet projects that friends think out?
I think that's a great question, and I think it comes back to what the candidates for school board were talking about, and that is about listening to the community. And what I want to say to all of you is thank you for being here. When I look at this community and the engagement that we get at city council meetings, at school board meetings, at community forums like this, I'm so grateful to be a part of this community. And I want to assure you that it is my every intention to be a good listener and to be also asking, how's it going? So I think the best thing that we could possibly do is to just be present and to be engaged and to be good listeners.
And the last question was submitted. Have you familiarized yourself with the Ouray Code of Conduct? How will it guide you?
I am somewhat familiar with it. I've been participating in city committees for a number of years. I understand that if I'm going to be in a room such as this with other city council member candidates, and there are 3 or more, that I need to make sure that the meeting is posted so that we are not breaking those codes of conduct. I am aware that I need to act in a responsible and respectful manner in all situations, and I am pledged to do that. And I look forward to learning what else might be a part of that obligation.
Thank you. And Jenny, we're going to give you time then to make a 10-minute statement, and you don't have to use the entire time if you don't need it. But you did address some of the questions before, but the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. I will not make you listen. My name is Jenny Hart. I am a mother, a hiker, a rescuer, a friend, a teacher, a mentor, and a nut about wildflowers. I'm also a candidate for the Ouray City Council. I have a long history here in our community, and I look forward to serving as your counselor. My mother was born here in the St. John's Miners Hospital in 1944. St. John's Miners Hospital is now our museum. My grandfather, John Wise, was the general manager of the Iderado mine and was on the Ouray City Council many years ago. As a child, I spent time in Ouray every summer with my family, just like so many of the tourists who visit today. I moved here in the winter of 1995 to do my student teaching at Ouray School in 3rd grade. I was then hired to teach school in Montrose, and in 1998, I was hired back here to teach full-time at Ouray School. I've loved teaching the children of Ouray. Many of my former students are now grown-up members of our community. The school is truly part of the glue that holds this community together. After a fulfilling career of teaching the children of Ouray, I retired from full-time teaching in 2022. I continue to work with new teachers in the region and act as the director of the West Central ATL program to help new teachers earn their license. I've also served this community for many years in a variety of capacities. I began doing trail work with the Ouray Trail Group in 1996 and have done trail work every year since. I am trail crew leader and I lead trips in the backcountry each summer. Keeping the trails open and safe for hiking is very important to me. I began serving with Ouray Mountain Rescue in 1998. I have been a fundraiser for the team all these years. And thank you to all of those of you in the audience who continue to support our hard work. Monthly meetings and trainings occur regularly and allow us to build community while handling the business of rescue. I actively participate in rescues as well. Being a member of this team is the greatest honor. It has taught me leadership, humility, and resilience. I participated in the Ouray Community Plan project, which began in 2018 and ended in 2021. This committee reviewed all aspects of our community to create a document that would inform the future of Ouray. Not only did I learn a lot about my community, but I had a voice in its future. I am proud to have participated in this strategic document. In 2022, I joined the board of Ouray County Historical Society. I am responsible for leading historic tours in the summer. I am passionate about the history of our community and have enjoyed teaching my students that history for many years. Come join me next summer. In 2023, I was invited to join the board of the Ouray Ice Park. With my history on the rescue team and my knowledge of fundraising, I have been able to contribute to this unique organization. My job has been to connect with local businesses and encourage them to partner with us in sponsoring the ice park. In 2023, I joined the Ouray County Community Fund. This philanthropic organization accepts donations from local citizens and then grants them to local nonprofits in our community. I was able to review community grant applications and award local nonprofits with much needed funds to help our community thrive. After 3 years of serving on this board, I stepped down this past summer. I transitioned to the board of their parent organization, the Western Colorado Community Foundation. This board seat and my role on the grants committee will allow me to learn more about nonprofit fundraising and how this large organization works with donors and helps to meet the needs of local nonprofits on the Western Slope. In 2023, I began to participate in the Ouray's Main Street Committee for the city of Ouray. As a representative to local businesses, I've learned about their unique needs and have worked to help meet those needs. This group also represents local nonprofit organizations such as the Ouray County Historical Society and advocates for them. Finally, I was also appointed to the Ouray Planning Commission. I need to learn to say no. I've learned a lot about how our community plans for and manages development. My work with the Main Street Committee and the Planning Commission have helped me learn a lot about how our city works. All of this community engagement leads me to a seat on Ouray City Council. I've learned so much about all aspects of our community and how it functions. As a council member, I strive to use my experience to listen, engage, reflect, and respond to the needs of the citizens. I do have several goals. I'll just rephrase them here. 1, I'd like to work on affordable housing. 2, I'd really like to work on wildfire mitigation to keep our homes safe. And 3, I would like to make sure that we continue to provide high quality water and have enough of it for all of the needs. And I have a little quote here that my mother would say, "Weehawken wine is worth the effort." With your help and your participation, I look forward to serving as your counselor. I strive to be a good listener, an active participant, and a responsible citizen. I welcome your input and promise to act on it as is possible. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Appreciate it. Now we will have presentations for the Ouray County ballot issues. Some of these issues may or may not be on your ballot that you have received. It depends on where you live in the county. There are 6 different types of ballots in our county this year. We wanted to provide you with some information in case one of these issues is on the ballot you received. We were not able to secure individuals to present the no against positions, so we encourage you to individually do more research if you have more questions. The first presenter will be Lee Williams for the Cedar Hill Cemetery District Ballot Issue 6A.
Hi, I'm Dee Williams, and I'm representing Friends of Cedar Hill Cemetery, a newly formed 501c3. Hip hip hooray, thank you. So, first of all, I'd like to say that we are asking voters to approve a 0.67 mill levy increase to help cover the essential operating and maintenance costs of the Cedar Hill Cemetery. The proposed increase will add $4.19 for every $100,000 valuation. Or, since we don't have many $100,000 valuations anymore, it will add $29.31 to every $700,000 valuation. These increases are so important to us. We have not had a mill levy increase since Tabor came into effect, which was in 1992. In 1992, our mill levy was 0.838. Right now, it's 0.332. We have not had an increase since 1992 in mill levy. Since our last mill levy increase, Cedar Hill has experienced multiple floods, resulting in significant damage to roads and to our equipment. While donations have allowed the Cedar Hills Board to maintain operations, substantial improvements are still needed. An updated irrigation system, as estimated at about $250,000, is essential, and we anticipate funding it through foundation grants, now that we have our 501c3 status. However, most foundations do not cover operating expenses, which is why the proposed mill levy is necessary to support ongoing operations. Cedar Hill Cemetery needs your support. Your yes vote will help us preserve this community landmark for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dee. Next, we have Hannah Holovet. She's going to present for the Ouray Fire Protection District Ballot Issue 6B.
That's okay. Hi, my name is Hannah Hollenbeck. I'm a volunteer administrator for the Ouray Fire Protection District. We are seeking a mill levy increase from 4.986 to 6.5. Let's give you a quick primer on this topic. OFPD was formed in 1987 by a group of homeowners that lived close to, but outside the city of Ouray boundaries. For example, Whispering Pines, Panoramic Heights, Mineral Farms, of County Road 14. This is governed by a board of directors. They are elected and they are volunteer. There are currently 5 directors 2 seats are vacant. The district does not have firefighting capabilities. Instead, we contract with the Ouray Volunteer Fire Department to provide those services. The contract lays out a formula that determines the contribution amount that the district pays the city on an annual basis. Since 2022, the city of Ouray committed to funding the volunteer fire department and addressing its severe backlog of deferred maintenance. As such, the funding request to OFPD from the city of Ouray has drastically increased. To be clear, the district supports this commitment to properly train and equip our volunteer fire department. However, that increase in the fire department's budget has exceeded the district's ability to fund. Simply put, the district generates approximately $50,000 in property tax revenue, which we pass basically directly through to the city. The district is asking voters to approve a mill levy of 6.5. Again, the current levy is 4.986. It's a pain in the butt to calculate things with that. The 6.5 mill levy is not enough to pay for the invoiced amount from the city. Just so you're aware, the 2024 invoiced amount from the city to OFPD was approximately $85,000. In order to generate that amount of money, the district would have to request a mill levy of around 9, an increase that would not likely be approved. The board of directors felt that setting the mill levy at 6.5 was a realistic but meaningful increase that voters would be willing to approve. Additionally, with the discussion of a county-wide fire department merger, it allows OFPD to potentially be a funding partner more in line with modern expectations in surrounding districts. I'll just throw out some quick examples of what property owners in the district could expect if this is approved. Currently, a $500,000 home pays $156 to the district. If the 6.5 mill levy question passes, that homeowner can expect to pay $203. That's a difference of $47. OFPD is committed to maintaining our partnership with the city to provide firefighting services. This ensures properties in the district are protected and continues to ensure coverage by your homeowner's insurance. If OFPD was to dissolve, it could have disastrous implications for homeowners insurance coverage. There is no other funding mechanism for the district. Property taxes are the only way that we can generate money. We cannot ask for a sales tax because there are no commercial businesses allowed in the district boundaries. It is located in the unincorporated county. Ouray County has been very, very lucky when it comes to fire, but we are not immune. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and the Fire Protection District hopes that voters will approve this very modest increase. Thank you.
I don't know how many of you live in the Ouray County ballot issue A district. We are not going to cover it tonight, but if you want more information, there is a document that is posted on the Women's Club website. So when you go to the homepage, there's a candidates form tab. You just click on that and then look for this PDF. It's down a little bit under the candidates. And so there's this for information. Is it over here? Was it over here? Yeah, it's over on the counter over here too, if you'd like to pick one up. And also, if you have more questions, Michelle Nauer would be happy to answer any questions about the proposed Ouray County lodging tax. And that's, like they said before, it's outside of our Ouray, city of Ouray and Ridgeway, town of Ridgeway. It's in the unincorporated areas, correct? Okay, want to make sure I say that right. Okay, we invite the city of Ouray mayoral candidates to please come forward. The camera will follow you. It tracks you. Sure. Okay, we have two candidates running for one position, which is the Mayor of the City of Ouray, Tamara Goldie on my right, and Michael Underwood on my left. Just a reminder, each candidate has 2 minutes for an introduction, 1 minute to answer presented questions, and 2 minutes after the presented questions for a closing statement. Due to time constraints, we are not able to ask every single question that was submitted. If your question was not presented tonight, we do encourage you to reach out to the candidate or candidates to get an answer to your question. Questions will be directed to both candidates, and candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question. And I now turn the floor over to our moderator, Vivian Tone.
So, we're gonna alternate the order, for your opening statement and the closing statement, and then we'll also alternate between the questions. So, Michael, would you like to go ahead and give us your opening statement?
Certainly, thank you, Vivian. Good evening, everyone. Back to school. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to school. Thank you, Women's Club, for organizing this event, and thank you, Todd Lunke, for hosting tonight's candidates forum. Tonight is a learning opportunity for you, leaving with sufficient information to assist you in casting your vote for your next mayor, an extremely important decision for our community. I'm applying for a job here this evening, and you are the boss. I bring the following qualifications and skills to you and the city of Ouray. Upon completion of my military service, I was owner, operator of a retail furniture store for 14 years. I know how to run a successful business. I then earned the degree of principal broker in the financial services profession and managed a total of 23 brokers. I know how to manage money, assets, and assist others in doing the same. I personally built an off-grid home in the Ozark Mountains. I know how to build and I know how to fix things. I first visited in 1994 Ouray and knew I had found my home. I moved here in 2004. I built a property maintenance company and segued into a property management company. I talked with many visitors during that time and learned what they need when they come to Ouray. I then earned my real estate license, and as a managing broker, I managed 12 brokers with offices in Ouray and Montrose. I fully understand the business of real estate transaction from recognizing goals to closing. I am proven effective in negotiations. I was elected to serve as chairman of the board of directors for the Realtor Association, serving on the ethics committee. I know how to run a meeting and listen to the participants. I currently serve on the board of directors for the Wright Opera House. I was elected to serve on the city council in 2011 and again in 2023. I am the council representative on the Ouray Economic Development Committee and the Parks and Recreation. I have attended seminars on geothermal energy, all the conferences on the Colorado Municipal League and Colorado Association.
Sorry, my phone.
I'm done.
You can include it in the closing statement. Tamara?
Hi, everybody. My name is Tamara Goldie, and I would like to be your next mayor, and I humbly ask for your vote. I have dedicated serving this community for 18 years. My husband and I moved here 20 years ago and have businesses on Main Street. We have an opportunity to meet with many, many people on a year-round basis and hear many of the issues that are going on here in Ouray. And we actually do pay attention. We actually took a business and have brought 15, 16 employees in the summer. They come back because we treat them well. As a counselor, I have actually done many things pushing forward our Zoom that we have backwards and forwards. We can actually speak into our council, and that was something I wanted, and I actually had pushback from that, and that's important because we want you there. I have 10 years on planning experience, and before we moved here, I actually was securities licensed and was a New York Life agent for 8 years. So I have a financial background. I'm still an independent insurance agent. I'm inactive, but I'm licensed in California and Colorado. That's in addition to all the things that I've done here. Being a planning commissioner for 10 years as a vice chair, I have fulfilled all of my terms, 3 years on beautification. I was also the president of the chamber in 2014-15. And it has been a pleasure to be here in this community. We love this community, and it has been a pleasure to serve in all these capacities. One of the things I have learned is to listen, and I'm here and you can communicate with me. I do respond, and I look forward to hearing more from you. Community engagement is going to be probably one of my top goals. So I look forward to telling more. Thank you.
The first question for both of you is, what do you understand the job of the mayor to be in the city of Ouray based on the city charter? And Cameron, you can go first on this.
The home rule charter states exactly what our positions are and what our responsibilities are. And we are a weak mayor system. The mayor doesn't come off like a Denver mayor as a strong mayor and run the city. The mayor has the same amount of power as the other councilors. But the mayor is in charge of the agenda, making sure that it is set, that it's set properly, and that documents are signed, and the mayor runs meetings. So it's important that people are organized, they understand how our municipality operates, and you actually have an opportunity to learn about that by going online to the home rule charter and reading about how we are structured. So the mayor really is kind of the face of the city, but technically has the same power as all of the other 4 councilors.
Thank you, Michael. Did you want me to repeat it? And anytime you want me to repeat the question. What do you understand the job of the mayor to be based on the city charter?
Well, the city charter is very clear about that. You can't succinctly lay that out. But moreover, the city mayor is a leadership position. There's a big difference in being a city council mayor. That's the reason why it's called the mayor. So it's a leadership position, and you have to be very clear about what your positions are, where you'd like to see your city go, and you have to be in tune with your community to make sure you know the answers to those questions.
Okay.
Most time.
The next question. When board members hold conflicting views, how would you work towards respectful and effective resolution? And Michael, you could go first on this one.
It's very important to understand that not everyone has the same opinion about everything, and it's very encouraging to know that. If everybody thought alike, no one's thinking. So you have to be, as an individual, you have to be responsible, respectful of other people's opinions, and listen to what they have to say. Maybe you might have an idea that you believe, based on your experience, is the right answer, but if you'll listen closely, which I've been noted for doing, you might listen to something, you might hear something that will, that will change your opinion or occupy your thoughts and give you some reason to pause and consider the options. So it's very important to have a respectful, meaningful understanding that there are differences of opinion, and that's the main goal right there.
Regarding infrastructure. Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I thought with 2 of you, this would just need to be under control. That's clearly.
We're all nervous up here.
Yeah.
So listening is very important. It's listening to fellow councilors and the mayor and listening to the community. I have come to meetings many times after reading a packet, sometimes 500 pages in a weekend, with a thought of how things should be. But after discussion, there are times when I've actually changed my mind because of thoughtful, respectful discussion. And I would say in the 4 years that I've been a counselor, that has been the case. We've been respectful, we've had discussion, and we've also listened attentively to the community. We can't all agree, it's not possible. We do make mistakes. It's just how it works. But listening really matters because you don't even have to debate it. Things make sense. We all have different perspectives. And I have changed my mind many times, and I expect that I will continue to do so.
Thank you. The next question is on infrastructure. Regarding infrastructure, how are you going to prioritize what issues need to be addressed? And what do you see as the top 3 of the infrastructure issues?
That's an easy one for me. Right now, we're going through a serious drought. And we have water issues, and I'd say that's top priority. We have a fire danger right now. We have dead trees all over. They're marked, they're ready to go, and we lost several $100s in grant money. And we've got to figure out a way, whether it's volunteer or we just don't have an answer for it. We're working with the county and other agencies. Those are two tied together. One is fresh drinking water, and then the community plan. We actually have a water treatment plant, that was in the plan. We have a wastewater treatment plant, that was in the plan. We also need to have our sidewalks and our gutters cleaned out and repaired. We need to make sure that our sewer system is working properly, and we're still working on
Michael, what do you see as the major, infrastructure issues, and what do you see as the top three?
Well, infrastructure is key to any city operation. I'm a ground kind of guy, you know, you take care of what you have to do to make sure that the city is functioning correctly and operating sufficiently for its citizenry. And that includes streets, it includes water, of course. Several people have this evening mentioned fire mitigation, and that is very important. And I'm a strong proponent of that. That's in our budget this year, and we may have to step up a little bit on that to compensate for the lack of state funding. If that's the case, we will. The streets are a major component of infrastructure, and we do have a couple of streets that need to be worked on specifically for drainage because they're principal throughways. But overall, I'm just an infrastructure guy. I want to make sure that the city water system is operating correctly as well as the sewer system. Thank you.
Regarding the city budget deficit, what solutions do you see to address the budget issue? And what do you see as the top three? And Michael, this would be for you.
Well, I was going to walk, I think it's probably best if I work with specificity at the city council meeting or the budget meeting with particular areas, but we do have a $1.5 million budget deficit. And after looking over the budget for the last several weeks, I have identified some principal areas where I can see where we can either not do those things or postpone those things. And the number amounts to $1,241,895 that I've identified so far that we can cut from the deficit. So, and it's pretty simple and very easily explain the rationale behind this. So when it comes time for budget, everybody show up and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Thank you.
And Tamara, and the question is, what solutions do you see, and what do you see as the top three issues?
Well, first of all, I think our community needs to know that we don't have a set real budget yet. It will not be set until October 27th. We have, for the first time, had to deal with a preliminary budget because we lost our finance director. And so we did our budget September 9th and 10th. September 9th and 10th is 2 months before we know what funds are actually in revenue. That's a problem, and we've had to go blind to try to figure out where we're going to be. So it will not be set until the 27th of October. It is a public meeting, and I highly recommend, if you really want to know how we're dealing with it, that you do arrive and listen to it. It's very boring, but very interesting, I'm going to say. But we do not have a deficit yet because we do not have a budget. So I want to make that clear.
Okay, the next question. How do you see the city government balancing the needs of locals with those of tourists, especially when it comes to our in-town amenities?
That's always going to be a challenge because our community is sales tax driven. If we don't have tourists, we don't have money to run the city, and that's just how it is. We have lot tax that pays for some of the tourism marketing and enhancing visitors' experience. But the reality of it is our city, our infrastructure, everything, our police department, our city staff, our pool, all of it. You know, we have our pool, excuse me, that's an enterprise zone. But if we don't have tourists, we are not going to be able to run a city efficiently. And we have had lots of challenges, as you know, in the last 18 months, lots. And right now, our city administrator is working very, very hard as a clerk because we don't have one, and a city administrator. And balancing that out with tourists, it's difficult. I know. I own a business on Main Street, and I even get tired of lots of tourists in July. Thank you.
Michael,
How do we?
do you want me to read them?
Yes, please.
Let's see, how do you see the city government balancing the needs of locals with those of tourists, particularly for town amenities?
Particularly for town amenities. I want to make it clear that, my first priority are the people that live here. You have chosen to live here, you're the citizens here. Everyone who comes here is a guest to your community, to your home. And if your home is not a healthy, happy place for you to be as homeowners and residents, then your guests are gonna understand that and they're not gonna like it. That being said, there's an important point to be made that the current structure of the city functions. There's a generous amount of money that operates the city comes from sales tax revenue. We have built up an enormous amount of visitors over the last several years, and we've leveled out quite a lot. So I think you're going to probably have to get used to the fact that we can't be all things to all people all the time. So it's important to me that the residents come first.
The next question, what is the biggest challenge facing the city of Ouray? What will you do to address the challenge when you become mayor? And Michael, that would be for you.
The biggest challenges I see right now, and it's been very clear, I've been paying a lot of attention, is that there's a lot of misunderstanding between what the council is doing and what the citizens are understanding. And what I will want to do, and what I will do if I'm elected mayor, is I will have a forum, regular night, every 90 days, have what amounts to a town hall meeting. So the citizens can come and sit in a casual atmosphere and let me understand what their needs, what they address their concerns are, what they like to see for their future in the community. And so the biggest concern is lack of communication and lack of understanding.
Cameron, it's the biggest challenge facing the city of Ouray and what you would do to address it.
The biggest challenges are all of them. There are lots of them, but community engagement, since I've lived here for 20 years in various capacities, serving the city and our community, engaging the community and having them understand what goes on at these meetings. I just had a conversation with Michelle Tier today about how government terminology is boring and complicated. People do not understand how it works. And I would really like to help our community actually understand how our budget works, how we can get information from our website. And I've spent a lot of time, even as in this campaign, talking to people and sharing how our city works. It's very important. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And you can contact me at any time, and I will return the call.
The next question, how important is the enforcement of city codes? How can the city council work with city employees to ensure their enforcement?
My first.
No, I'm sorry.
Enforcement, code enforcement. Boy, have we been hearing that. And it probably has been going on for decades before I even got here. Unfortunately, we've been very lax as a city, but we could be years ago. And now we can't. The state's coming down on us. We are mandated to do many, many changes. And people are very unhappy about it. We have a new community development director who's very code oriented and is completely redoing everything in the building department. So it makes sense and it's efficient. So I ask for patience But code enforcement is very, very important. Being staffed is very important, and we don't have a lot of staff to be able to do that. So the city council is actively working on how to enforce. And when we enforce, people aren't happy as well. It's a delicate line.
Michael, again, how does council ensure enforceability?
How can they ensure,
By
enforceability?
the city employees?
How can they ensure enforceability by the city employees?
Mhm.
Well, first of all, I think the question should be broader. Think about the city codes. I've been talking to Dan Murphy, our community development director, and we have an enormous amount of city codes here. And it's really easy for us to enact a lot of codes that we have not been able to enforce whatsoever, many of them, and they're not being enforced universally. And some of them are frankly pretty ridiculous. So my first goal would be to work with the city community development director, because he has indicated that there has been some bugs in the codes that he wants to work out. And so I think if we just clean it up a considerable amount, we don't have a code enforcement department in our city. We're relying completely on our police department, and they're overburdened as it is. So clean it up. Time's up.
Thank you. The next question, how would you handle citizens' concerns that are brought before the city council? And how will you help facilitate the reach?
How would you handle them as they come to the city council
That's right.
in a public meeting?
I think, well, it says before the city council, so I think whether they bring them to the council in questions at a meeting or submit issues to the council through another means of communication.
Well, there's several times that people have come forward with concerns, and the way the government works is that it's a slow process, and I'm getting used to that. But we have to, if there's a legitimate concern, which they all are, we have to put them on as discussion items, and maybe if it's a sincere, severe concern, we need to have a work session and invite the public. Public input is important. Transparency is important. So everybody understands. So how you handle that is with respect, dignity, and concern.
And Pamela, how would you handle citizens' concerns?
I handle citizens' concerns every day. And what happens is I can't always solve their issues. But what I can do is I can direct them to the right place, to the right person that can assist. And it's not always the outcome that citizens want. For snow removal, you can blame me. I'm the one who got those signs so we could plow the side streets here. But the community members are mad because their roads can't be plowed, but we don't have enough staff to do that. So we can't, what I can do is listen and direct, and I do listen. I listen a lot, and I do respond to community members, whether it's by phone or whether it's by email. Even if I don't have the answer, I will happily direct them.
The next question, do you feel that there's a need to preserve Ouray's historical character? And Pamela, that would be.
I say absolutely yes. But one of the challenges that we're having with historical character is that we don't have any restrictions. I believe that there was a ballot measure before we got here 20 years ago. There are no restrictions on the historic district, particularly except our own building codes. People can do whatever they want with their property. It's called property rights, and there are people very frustrated with that. It's really up to what people want. And unfortunately, there are people that really want to have a modern house, and they have a right to build it. It will take a ballot measure, and that's something the community will have to do in order to make it look, keep it as historical as possible. We have a lot of old homes here. I own 2 of them. I would love to scrape one. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot less expensive. But you know what? I also don't want to be target practice from across the way. So we do need to keep the character as much as we can, but that's really about our citizens.
Please repeat that question.
Yes, yeah, do you think there's a need to preserve Ouray's historical character?
Yes, and the historical character goes way beyond architecture. I respect the fact that we have a Victorian community here, but our character is us. The people that come here, you make the sacrifices necessary to be a resident in Ouray. And as a person who's done that, I know it's not always easy. So it's a strong, independent, community-minded character that I want to make sure that we preserve here. Architecture is very important, that's for sure. I don't want to go, I will never support being able to look like every building looks the same. We do have building codes, but we don't have, as Cameron mentioned, we don't have sufficient to make them all look the same as far as Victorian is concerned. But the character of Ouray goes well beyond architecture. I feel it in the people that I talk to and the people that I know. And that's what I feel like that's the important part.
And our very last question, is it important to develop relationships with other municipalities, county and state officials? Michael?
It is absolutely important to do so, and I understand that independent nature and Ouray is its own entity. However, we have a tri-agency agreement with the town of Ridgeway and the county, Ouray County, and it's very important that we have those mutual operation understandings so we can work together and collaborate as a tri-agency agreement. Because it's a modern world, and we can't just be fighting one another 9 miles down the road. We have to have a cooperative effort that generates generates benefits for each county, each entity as it represents their individual community. We're not all the same, but we can all work together.
Tamara?
Absolutely. It is very important that we as counselors and mayor should be networking with not only our county municipalities and the county itself, but also with state officials. And I just got back from a climate conference where we were all putting our heads together about this drought that we have. It's affecting all of us and the weather changes and how we can deal with hazards. How do we evacuate? What do we do about fire protection? Sharing ideas. I had the opportunity to actually speak to two different groups of public officials from the federal government on down to councilors and mayors from all over the state to pitch the restoration of the Crystal Lake Crystal Reservoir, which is known as Crystal Lake. It's an opportunity. I pleaded for help, and they actually gave me a standing ovation because they heard the message.
Thank you for those answers. We're now going to have an opportunity for a closing statement from each of you for 2 minutes. And Tamara, I think you get to go first on this.
I get to go. Okay. The city has faced many challenges, especially in the last 18 months. I was the chair after 3 years in perfect attendance of the community plan. I think that Jenny Hart earlier spoke very eloquently about what that community plan committee did. It was a steering committee. It was 3 years, and we have a beautiful community plan dated 2021. But we need to be looking into 2026 because after 5 years, there are many updates and it needs to be updated. So we'd be looking forward in that direction. We've accomplished many things. We have 2 multi-million-dollar plants. We have a wastewater treatment plant. We actually have some issues with it, but we are still actively trying to solve that. We have a water treatment plant that actually from start to finish was during the 4 years that I've been a counselor. We have issues with security of our fresh water. It matters. Community engagement is a big deal. I've spent lots and lots of time and have a breadth of knowledge that probably none of the counselors even presently on our council have because of all the things that I've done here. And I feel like we're going into really rocky times. difficult times. And I think you need to have a mayor that understands from many, many levels the breadth of knowledge, which comes from experience. And I believe that I'm the best fit to be your mayor. And I really hope and I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
Michael?
The actions taken by the city council, with which I disagree, that prompted me to be a candidate to serve. After my election, I continue to disagree on some issues. That's the way it is. I will always weigh options on every issue fairly and cast my vote accordingly. Proper use of city funds is but one of the jobs of council. Implementing strategies to move our community forward is another. Our master plan and strategic plans are no value without methods to achieve them. No methods currently exist. As mayor, I would work with council, our city administrator, and department heads to accomplish these goals and new ones. Examine the prospects, weigh the benefits, cost, and energy required. I can see what needs to be done, know how to do it, and when to do it. I have been successful in asset allocation and have built careers on my ability to relate to others. I am intelligent, but my temperament, experience, and wisdom have more value. I own my own strengths without arrogance, and I know my limits. I have nothing to prove, and I am not affected by praise or criticism. I have what it takes to be your mayor and would like to prove that to you. The skills are second nature to me. I offer a steady hand at the wheel, a voice of reason to any argument, and a sense of humor to the absurdities. Your interests are mine. I will not please all of you all the time, and I'm prepared for that reality. What you think of me as mayor is your business. Making sense is mine. That includes building a community that works together as one. When we all do what we will do the best we can of ourselves. Thank you for your time this evening and always, and I ask for your vote as mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
The Women's Club of Ouray County, the Plain Dealer, and Ouray School thanks you for coming to this year's Candidates Forum. We hope you have gathered information that will be useful when you vote. If you did not get your question answered,